Welcome to the European Sport Congress podcast, where we discuss sport projects and priorities with amazing guests who are leading sport innovation. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe and to follow the European Sport Congress on social media. Joining us today, we have Daniel Martínez Junquera, Director of Visita Gijón, the unit for the entrepreneurial and touristic promotion of the city. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you feeling?
I'm very good, very good. It's my pleasure to be here with you, and let's
Thank you
let's
so
go
much
for
for
it.
taking the time. It's a pleasure having you here because Gijón, it's a growing city, especially in sport. It's not by chance that it was chosen as a venue for this very special edition of the European Sport Congress. And I'd like to start exactly there. Why do you think that Gijón has been growing so much and it's such a captivating city?
Well, in general, Gijón is a lovely city. I'm coming from Gijón, so there is no other things that I could say about Gijón. Obviously, I'm in charge of the promotion of all the touristic strategies in Gijón to try to get tourism coming to visit and enjoy the city. And we have like a claim in the promotion campaign that we launched a few years ago that we want the people to come and enjoy the city exactly the way we do because we love our city. We love the culture that we have in Gijón, the gastronomy, obviously, of Gijón. If the people doesn't know how it is, they surely will discover when they come to the Congress. And also the people that we have in our city is one of the I would say is the best asset that we have in terms of promoting our city, the community, the way of living that we have in here is the precious asset that we have.
What do you say it's some of the traits of the people in here?
The main claim of the campaign, actually the marketing claim, it's living well is a science, and economy is that science. It's like we have invented the the way of living well in a city, and that is the core of the campaign, and also it is the core of the inhabitants of Gijón. Um, and as I told you before, we analyze very well all the key elements, all the key points that we have in our city. We analyze the gastronomy, we analyze all the culture that we have, all the festivals, etc., and so on. And we every year we run around 4,000 questions to people that comes to visit our city, and they mostly all agree that the people that live in our city is the best thing that we have. So we decided to go ahead and put the people ahead of everything else. We have in Gijón one of the big the biggest building built in Spain, which is called Laboral Ciudad de la Cultura.
Which, by the
Uh,
way, sorry, but will be the venue of the event. So really
which
happy
will be
for
the
that.
venue of the event, which is an impressive building built at the beginning of the 20th century. Uh, we have many other very attractive elements in Gijón to promote. However, we decided to go ahead and put the people ahead of all these elements. So we created this campaign called Gijonomy. We invite everybody to go and check the website gijonomia.ses and check on how we decided to promote the city with local people, doing local things, and showing why we love our city exactly, doing daily tasks, daily things, and showing the people that if they want to enjoy our city, if they want to not to see instead of discover the way of communities like us living in our city, they have to learn the science called Gijonomy. So it's very interesting. It's a different way of promoting a destination, and we are very proud of this campaign, and it's working very well. And what if I may ask you a question as
Of
well,
course.
what do you think coming from out of Gijón about this campaign, or the way of living of this community of
I
Gijón?
think it perfectly depicts what Gijón is. I was when my first 2 days here, I was stunned by how nice, how friendly people were. I asked the question, and people didn't just ask, didn't just answer. They took me there. They did it for me if it was necessary. It was completely different from anything I've ever experienced. So I completely agree that that was the way to go. And people here live a different way, and they are very intense as well.
We
And
are. Definitely we are. Yes.
so Gijón is not very well known outside, but it has so much life. It has so many things. It has so much cultural offer. How do you make it that this little point in the map, how do you give it so much life, and how do you think it's possible to offer so much to its citizens?
Well, it was, I think, Gijón is the biggest city of Asturias, of the Principality of Asturias. However, it is not the capital. You know, being the capital of the region is, you know, it gives you some privilege in terms
Visibility.
of yes, of being better known abroad our borders. However, we have our fight as well in trying to promote our city and getting trying to get a notice a weight of Asturias, not only in terms of the domestic market as well in the international market. And one of the elements is the vast cultural events that are taking place in the city, and it was I guess it was coming as well from the way of living of the people in Gijón, that it was a big compound of many associative movement in terms of cultural movements and also the social associations that took place in the past or 4 decades, where they started to think on how they wanted to move towards the city, and also the political way of thinking back then. It was a political bet to go ahead and you know and talk with the society in that moment and try to put on the table a massive offer of cultural events and concerts and festivals. So
They're all public and free. I find that that's amazing. You
and
go outside and you have culture all around you.
yes, and that was as well a political bet, you know, in terms of going ahead and make the cultural public to and available to everyone. So yeah, everything here, mostly everything, not everything, but mostly everything is free. You can go and museum, and all the museums are free. Uh, Pretty much all the public events that are coming from the local city hall as well are public. So yeah, I mean we have many things in summer, but not also in the summer as well all over the year. But
Yeah.
you know, from June to September, you can go every day to the city center on outside the city center and discover many things, many events, many concerts, many festivals, and so on.
Oh,
And
exactly.
yeah,
And
yeah, we are not very well known away, but that's why we are here and trying to work on that too.
of course, and that's changing for sure. But you are growing a lot, and you are growing in tourism and everything. But you remain one of the safest cities in Spain and one with the best qualities of life. How do you balance these two, the growth and still the safety, the security, and the quality of life?
Well, it is one of the elements that we promote as well. You know, we are one of the safest cities in the whole Spain. The way of living in here, and that again is part of the economy treaty. It's how we want to promote our city. We might, I don't know, build a theme park in here, a huge one, and maybe get thousands of tourism. But it is not the way we want to promote our city. You know, it is not how we understand and where there is that very thin line between the good and the bad of tourism. So yeah, I mean, that's the strategic point that we want to point out. It's the way of living, the way of our city keep growing in terms of tourism figures, but growing in a correct way, not growing in the bad way. No.
Exactly. So respecting your citizens, respecting your environment. And one way that you do that is through sport. I was also amazed when I moved here, the amount
Mm.
of people that do sport, that are exercising constantly. Like you have so many facilities. Obviously, you are located between the mountains and the sea, and that makes it a bit easier. But still, people do exercise a lot. How do you think that that mindset came to be?
Again, it was part of the society, they were claiming that Gijón has to do something for for all the inhabitants in the city, and it happened like 30, 40 years ago, where the local city hall decided not to concentrate all the sport program in just one or 2 points. Instead, they decided to go ahead and build sports centers in all the neighborhoods of the city. So they were able to, to get to all the people despite where they lived. Because you might go to other city and to practice sports, you go to one spot of the city. However, here you have facilities all over the city. They are spread all over the city, and also one of the main points and one of the main elements that also it is very important for our culture and from that shows the way we are, which is the sea. The ocean or Gijón is surrounded by the Cantabric Ocean, which is part of the Atlantic, but it's not like any other oceans,
No,
like
that's
the Mediterranean. And it is a very important element on the sport culture as well, because we have many
water
sports.
sports.
Yes, water sports or sports related with the sea. We got surf, we got uh, kite surf, we got kayaking. Uh, we also do very friendly sports like walking around the promenade that we have in the city or running every day and every morning. But also, if you want to play golf, we have four four courses here in Gijón. But you can play as well tennis or you can play whatever you want because, as I told you before, the strategic stone built back in the days was to approach sports to all the citizens in the city.
But you promote sport not just as physical activity, but also sport priorities. So I know that you're very focused, for instance, on gender equality and or inclusion through sport. What would you say are some of the main priorities that the municipality has towards sport, and how do you act towards it?
Well, I think accessibility and all these matters. It has not only to be part of one specific part of Gijón in general. Even all the parts of the promotion of the city in terms of tourism, for example, uh, we promote that kind of accessible tourism or equality on sustainability as well. So it has to be part of every single element of the municipality of Gijón, and we do that in the part of the sports, of course, but we also do that in the part of promoting tourism as a destination, and also we do that in the part of the culture that we have in Gijón. So it has to be in terms of a general key element that has to be implemented in all the strategies and in all the actions that we make in Gijón. But in terms of the sports, as I told you before, Gijón was a very advanced city in terms of spreading the sport culture in the city back in the days, like as I told you before, for 40 years ago. So this was one of the elements that you need to have in terms of building your house. You have to have the base of the house very well built, and then keep growing in terms of making more higher, the building. So that's why 40 years ago we spread the sports around the city, but it was kept in mind that it has to be inclusive for all the people despite their condition, and yeah, that's pretty much it. We did we our duties back in the days, and now we are keep trying to perform better and better.
I really admire how organic this growth has been and how you're explaining it. Now, focusing a bit on entrepreneurship as well and on entrepreneurship in the city. So you really are growing this network of companies, of individuals, freelancers, and you really promote it. And for that, you need a strong community. You need people that work together, and you do have many companies and many institutions that gather this. How is it in terms of sport entrepreneurship?
Well, before answer the question, just let me make a very quick thinking of how we went to a very industrial city back in the 80s, more or less, and how we are now in 2023. Gijón was a very industrial city. We pretty much depend on the iron production and charcoal and exportation on our harbors and so on. Even Gijón was called the Little London because of all the smoke that were coming from the factories. And then again, back in the 90s, when the big crisis in Spain of the iron and the naval crisis, the harbors where all the ships were built here in Gijón shores, um, there was again a social movement and also a political movement in terms of swapping or trying to redirect all the economy on Gijón, which was pretty much depending on the industry, towards the entrepreneur, towards the technology, and so on. So they decided to create the science park where Laboral Ciudad de la Cultura is located as well. So it was a very good point in terms of swapping the or not swapping in terms of integrate more economies into the local global economy that Gijón had back in that moment. And now we are seeing how the things were done back then and how Gijón it is now, which is one of the most important cities in the north of Spain in terms of technological companies located in the science park, and also the 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 facilities that we have in terms of having people that they want to develop new projects and they don't know how to do it and they don't have even the space, and that's why we created or Gijón Impulsa was created back then in the days, and how we give these people that they don't have even a small space, a table, and a computer to start the project. We give them that, and also we help them in terms of building the company, and that's how they start. The big companies started probably in decades in the past. And in terms of the sports as well, we obviously there are many important elements in practicing sports, but there are also many other important elements in terms of the innovation in sports as well, and making companies focus on new matters of improving how we perform sports, for example, or how we may have new facilities in terms of practicing a sport. Uh, and also in terms of this Congress in general, the importance not only of practicing sport, the importance of the inclusion, the importance of the accessibility, the importance of how we might be related with other communities in terms of keep improving the practicing of sports within a network of cities, for example. So it's very good. We are very happy to be part of this Congress, and we are very happy as well to be one of the sponsors as well in terms of being part of the EU Congress, Sport Congress.
Yeah, and you're doing an amazing job. But before we get into the USC, we are, in terms of congresses, we're also growing very, very much. So I've just seen there was a magazine talking about all the congresses, especially focused in health, that you have here, which there are tons of them. Why do you think that Gijón is such a great venue for this type of events, for these congresses?
Again, Gijón is a quite mature city in terms of promoting our city for the MICE business in general, not only congresses as well. We do uh, small small conventions as well, incentive travels, incentive trips that companies they might come as well, do their incentive in here and as well enjoy the city. But congresses it is one of the most important elements that we promote from our convention bureau. Our convention bureau has been promoting the city in this segment of business in the MICE industry for the past 20 years, even more than that. So uh, it's one of the most important and strategic elements that we have in Gijón in terms of promoting the city. Of course, we want people that come and enjoy the gastronomy and the cultural heritage that we might have, but unfortunately, it's very stational. We have very limited days of the year that we can have a full season in terms of having this leisure segment. So that's why 20 years ago we started promoting, we started getting funds and people as well I mean in the tourism destination management office in the tourism DMO to create the convention bureau and started promoting this kind of business as well. Um, and then we have very good connections, very good network within the Mile of Knowledge, which is where Laboral Ciudad de la Cultura and also the Science Technological Park is located. Also, there is the University Hospital as well in there, which is a hospital of Cabueñes. And also, we got part of the University of Oviedo surrounded all this Mile of Knowledge. So we basically our work in there is try to connect these specialist people in matters of health or investigation in terms of general um, yeah innovation and so on. So we try to reach these local ambassadors to to push them towards to organize something in here, and that's why the Convention Bureau exists and it's been working so hard for the past 20 years in terms of promoting the city in this thing. But also, uh, we might promote this type of business, but we need those ambassadors. We have to go there to the hospital and have meetings with doctors and nurses, and we have to go to the university and speak with professors and with the headmaster of the university as well to try to push them towards to organize this. And we know organize a congress is not an easy task, but we are here. We are here to help you guys in terms of organizing everything and make things a little bit easier and towards the goal of getting a success in the event.
And you've been doing a really great job. And part of what you do is not just helping us, but you're actually helping the city. And you've always, from the beginning, said that you want this also to affect the inhabitants and to be open for them. So, why do you think, and now going to the European Sport Congress, why do you think that our event can bring to the local institutions and to the citizens of Gijón and of Asturias?
We are, very um, very used to have many congresses in Gijón, medical congresses, innovation congresses, technological congresses. But we might not have many of talking about the sports. And the way the Congress is presented with all the topics that are going to be discussed in the Congress, and it was very interesting in terms of how these topics might impact in the sports economy of the city in terms of all the clubs that we have in Gijón, also all the sport area of the municipality of Gijón as well can be incorporated as well in the Congress. From the next meetings that we have with other clubs and with other administration parts, not only of Gijón, of the Principado of Asturias as well. And everybody was very happy to have this Congress in here. And obviously for us, it's a pleasure to host it here in Gijón, in our city. So it's going to be very interesting for all the people that works directly or indirectly in the sport business, and also for all the people, not only the people that work in the business, for the people that practice sports as well. So
Exactly.
so we hope it's going to be a massive success in terms of the event in general.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're trying to put the sport priorities on the table and to also to have a platform for everybody to learn. And now, from the outsiders, what can the participants at the European Sport Congress, the ones that come from all over Europe, what can they expect coming here and from the city of Gijón?
Well, it's something that I'm very proud of saying, which is they will discover one of the gems in northern Spain. Some other cities are some of our competitors are very very well known cities like San Sebastian, Bilbao, Coruña, maybe Santander as well. But Gijón, as you said at the beginning of the interview, is not very well known from outside Spain. So they will discover a gem where the 20% of the city, of the whole city, is urban space. The rest, 80%, is just natural space with cows, with sheep, with farms. So it's something very very impressive, to be honest. When we bring people from outside and we start the maybe travel agents or tour operators or people working in tourism magazines that they come here and they are very well impressed about how within 10 minutes in a car you can be just in the middle of nowhere. um, they will also discover the people that we have in here, which is amazing, as we said before about the about economy. And also they will have time, I hope, to enjoy our gastronomy, which is one of the most important things that we have in here. And also we always share our gastronomy as a cultural thing. There is
Yeah.
no other way to begin. There is no there is no the need of having lunch. We enjoy having lunch because it's part of our culture. uh, they will discover the cider, of course,
Hmm.
the way we serve the cider as well. I'm sure they will have time for it. um,
Yeah.
and also they will see one of the most amazing spaces in Spain, which is La Borrachera de la Cultura, which is something impressive to see it. It's a very well equipped as well place to host this congress or any other kind of events. So they will be amazed about the building. And also I hope they will have time to enjoy the city, to walk along the San Lorenzo Bay and see the um, the old town of Cima de Villa as well, which
Yeah.
is very very impressive to see. But well, we'll see. And also, which is something that we always say in this type of mice industry, they might have just a short time to see the city, and I hope they will come back as a tourist just to enjoy and have some of the to enjoy as a leisure tourist in
Yeah,
the future.
I'm happy to say that in terms of gastronomy, we have it very well thought, and we want everybody to try everything. We also have an especia dinner, which is a very traditional thing here, so they will for sure be able to try the local gastronomy and the cider as well.
That's the way of doing things in here. It's sharing
Yeah.
and sharing around of a table, enjoying the gastronomy and also enjoying the company that we have within all the people being participant of an speech.
Yeah, that's an amazing. That was our idea as well. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for joining us today and for giving us all this amazing insight into Gijón. I, I'm ever more in love with this city. It's amazing, and I'm sure that all the participants will also fall a bit in love with this hidden gem in Asturias. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. We are, waiting you guys here with our open arms to see you in the Congress, and I hope everybody will have a big smile when they arrive here, and even a bigger one once they left.
The European Sport Congress brings together stakeholders from all over Europe to showcase their work, connect with potential partners, and learn from the experts. In this September, and you can find all the information and register at www.sportcongress.eu.